Hi everybody! Today's episode 1585 features video snippets from Devory, Darkins, Elon Musk, also from ABL, Karine. Plus from Bannons, the Fed, and wrapping up with Beck, what everyone is missing. Highlights begin today, June 6, 2025, at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Don't miss this great lineup.
Help keep free speech alive. Please join Murtech on Locals, Truth Social and on X.
From Devory, Darkins, breaking, Elon Musk just declared war on Trump.
From Anthony Brian Logan, Karine Jean-Pierre leaves the Democratic Party and her colleagues are mad.
From Bannons' War Room, the Fed does not want to lower interest rates to help the Trump administration.
And from Beck, what everyone is missing about the big, beautiful bill fight.
Don't miss this great live stream with Murtech on Rumble tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. The link is in the description box below. Thank you for all your support and may God bless. Oh, by the way, don't forget to follow me and click the thumbs up button. Thanks again.
Okay, sorry, forgot to turn my camera on. Let me go ahead and go over this again. We have Devory, Darkins, Anthony Brian Logan, Bannons' War Room, and Beck. But before we get into that, I do want to come down here and give a shout out to Beyond the Paradigm, just started following my channel. Fokun just started following my channel. J Roche 19688 just started following my channel. Teresa Barnes Madich just started following my channel. MD Bauzo just started following my channel. And Greg A. Foster just started following my channel. So thank you very much, folks, for following my channel. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you're tuned in, and I hope you enjoy the content. All right. Also, I got a comment from Debbie BS on my episode 1582, and a comment from Debbie BS on my episode 1583. So thank you, Debbie, for your comments. I really enjoy reading your feedback and your support. So let me give this a thumbs up. Boom. There we go. There we go. And by the way, I got another one of those little thumbs up buttons right here. If you wouldn't mind, scroll down and click that. Okay, let's get into this. Devory, Darkins. Breaking. Elon Musk just declared war on Trump. Okay, folks, I don't know what the hell's going on here. Let's see what Devory has to say, and we'll go from there.
In a shocking turn of events, it's no secret that the feud between President Trump and Elon Musk is continuing to escalate. So in this video, we're going to show you everything that has been set up at this point, and in the end, I'm going to give you my own personal opinion about it. Let's start with a summary first.
The bromance between Elon Musk, the world's richest man, and President Donald Trump seems to be coming to a rocky end. You have President Trump saying in the Oval Office earlier today that Elon Musk saw this congressional bill that he's been railing about, and that he agreed with it, and that he was only now turning against the bill because, one, it doesn't have an electric vehicle mandate that he was pushing for in the bill, but also because he says he misses the White House and now he's gotten out out there is no longer in what the president called the beautiful Oval Office, and as a result, he's rallying against it. And Elon Musk is wasting no time pushing back. I want to put up just one of the many posts that Elon Musk has put up. He said, "Without me, Trump would have lost the election. Democrats would control the House, and the Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate." He went on to say, "Such ingratitude." So this really shows you that Elon Musk is pulling out all the stops here when it comes to pushing back against President Trump. And we should remind people that Elon Musk did spend millions and millions and millions of dollars personally giving to the campaign of President Trump, but also giving out bonuses and creating all sorts of competitions, giving money to voters for signing up petitions and doing all sorts of things to sort of get energy around President Trump. That being said, President Trump is saying he would have won regardless of whether or not Elon Musk had backed him, which is also striking for him to say, given the amount of support that he got from Elon Musk. It'll be very interesting to see where this goes next, but it seems like it's going to get uglier and uglier.
Okay, so by now I'm sure you heard of the feud between President Trump and Elon Musk that is continuing to escalate. Just so you guys know where I stand, this feels like when your parents are getting a divorce. Everyone loses here, okay? I believe President Trump will not come out of this unscathed. I believe Elon Musk will not come out of this unscathed. But ultimately, the people who are going to pay the price are the American voters, the people who voted President Trump in. He is the leader. Because ultimately, while all the attention is on President Trump and Elon Musk, you know where the attention should be on? Congress. Now,
okay, I'm going to jump in here. And, you know, he said President Trump is not going to come out of this unscathed. That may be true. I don't know if he won't have as much impression on Congress, on the Senate and the House. But it really doesn't matter as far as the popularity goes, because he's not going to run for office again. I know he's been trolling about it, but he's not going to run for office. There would have to be major changes in the Constitution for that to happen. So I don't understand why Elon is getting so upset about this. I mean, Donald Trump talked about ending the electric vehicle, whatever rebates, or when he was campaigning for president. So, you know, that coming out of this budget bill, this should be no surprise to Elon Musk. He's talked about this before, even before Elon Musk started supporting him. Maybe he thought that if he did support him, that he would throw that in. But I don't think Donald Trump is the type of politician that, you know, will change the way he's going to do things because you throw a little money his way. Or in Elon Musk's case, hundreds of millions of dollars. But that's what he said he was going to do. He was going to take away the EV money that was being paid out for people that purchased EVs. So here again, this should be no surprise to Elon Musk. And why he's getting so weird about it, I don't know.
Now, we're going to go through this story. You guys may not like some of my opinions, but you guys know I'm always going to give it to you straight. Now, let's first hear what President Trump just said this morning about Elon Musk when he responded publicly to his statements. Take a listen.
But I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here, better than you people. He knew everything about it. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden, he had a problem. And he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate, because that's billions and billions of dollars. And it really is unfair. We want to have cars of all types, electric. We want to have electric, but we want to have a gasoline, combustion. We want to have different. We want to have hybrids. We want to have all. We want to be able to sell everything. And when that was cut, and Congress wanted to cut it, he became a little bit different. I can understand, but he knew every aspect of this bill. He knew it better than almost anybody. And he never had a problem until right after he left. And if you saw the statements he made about me, which I'm sure you can get very easily, it's very fresh on tape, he said the most beautiful things about me. And he hasn't said bad about me personally, but I'm sure that'll be next. I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot.
All right, so Elon Musk did fire back at the president, and he said this: false. This bill was never shown to me even once and was passed in the dead of night so fast that almost no one in Congress couldn't even read it. Now, number one, there is truth to that because Marjorie Taylor Greene even confirmed she didn't even read the bill. And if she had read the bill, she would have voted no. Point number two, President Trump stating that Elon Musk is pissed off because of EV mandates. That's actually wrong. Elon Musk, there's multiple videos, multiple interviews, multiple official statements advocating to get rid of EV mandates. He's actually in support of that. And number three, nobody wins here, okay? This continued spat between these two only hurts the American voter. People like you and me, right? We want them focused on priorities, moving the needle, delivering the agenda, not taking your beef onto social media and going at each other in this way. And here's an example of that. Here's Elon Musk saying, without me, Trump would have lost the election, Dems would control the House, and the Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate. He followed up by saying, such ingratitude. Now, of course, there's people that disagree with this. I think it was a collaborative effort between RFK Jr., the Maha movement, MAGA, of course, Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, by the way. Let's not forget that. But I think the ultimate thing here, it's Kamala Harris. I think she was the X factor. There's no way anybody would ever elect her at all. People would rather vote in Trump than her 99 out of 100 times, okay? And that's not taken away from President Trump or anybody, but I do think that is worthy to say. Now, I think this has gotten to this level because there's something that Elon Musk is missing. Take a listen to what MSNBC just said.
I think what's interesting here is that as innovative and successful as Elon Musk is as a businessman, he seems to be rather politically naive. The Republican Party and Donald Trump, neither of them really campaigned on bringing the federal debt under control. They didn't campaign on entitlement reform. They didn't campaign on across-the-board tax increases. They've talked about waste, fraud, and abuse, which anybody who follows budgeting knows you should get rid of, but it's nowhere near. I mean, it's like a drop in the bucket when it comes to dealing with a $37 trillion debt. And so if he thought that the Department of Government Efficiency or discretionary spending cuts was going to get it done, then he didn't understand the budget. And he also apparently didn't understand that political loyalty with President Trump runs one way. The way it's good for Trump and not necessarily good for everybody else involved. It's just the way he is. And if Musk would have done his homework, he might have realized that.
That is the main point here. Elon Musk is politically naive to Washington. No question. It's just like the way President Trump was in his first administration. Even he admitted that out loud. But the bottom line here, folks, is as long as they have a phone in their hand, both of these gentlemen, they're going to continue to fly off the handle and say things as an emotional reaction. And that's what I don't like about this entire situation, especially when President Trump posted this. The easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon Musk's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. Now, circling back on that point that Elon Musk is politically naive, take a look at Tesla's stock. It has dropped 14.26% since Elon Musk came out against President Trump this morning. And what did Elon Musk say in response? In light of the president's statement about cancellation of my government contracts, SpaceX will begin decommissioning its Dragon spacecraft immediately. Understand what the Dragon spacecraft is. This is what they use to transport astronauts to space, the International Space Station, back and forth. It's the same aircraft that was used to rescue the stranded astronauts that happened earlier this year. Now that you guys seen this feud play out between President Trump and Elon Musk, let's see how Republicans are reacting, starting with Speaker Johnson. Here's what he said.
Conversations with so I'm going. You spoken this morning? No, I'm going to call Elon right now. Could I ask? Economy work, making the border secure, making energy dominance a big thing again, and that's what our bill's going to do, and that's what I'm focused on, and the really important things in life. Okay, this is my chief of staff, baby.
He said that you've changed. He criticized you.
Elon said I've changed?
He said,
No.
yeah, you used to be concerned with a deficit. You no longer.
I responded to that. I'm the same guy that's always been a deficit hawk, and now I'm the Speaker of the House, and I'm working on a multi-step plan to reverse the fiscal insanity that has haunted our country. We're going to get back to fiscal responsibility, and this is the first step of many. It's a multi-step process. We have to get the big, beautiful bill done. It's a historic step forward. And I know, right? I know. And I mean, look, we're going to say...
He said that he deserves credit for winning the House. And do you give him credit for that?
As somebody who traveled nonstop last year to win the House majority, I don't think any one person deserves credit. But if there is one person, it's Donald J. Trump.
House Republicans for months have revered Elon Musk and the work he's done. Did he lose all of his clout?
The Doge efforts were heroic and important, and that doesn't change. And look, Elon is a friend. I texted him, called him this morning as we were scheduled to speak, and we haven't yet. I sent him a lot of information via text, hoping he reads it and considers it. And this isn't personal. Policy differences should not be personal.
Well, he's made it personal.
Thanks, guys.
Worried about the political fallout?
All right, so today's video is brought to you by Incogni. Did you know that every time you receive a spam call, that's a clear sign that your person actually a security number? Create a people wait until it's too late. But you don't have to do that with them. Monitor with Incogni just today. Now, he also took to X after Elon Musk called him out and said, where is the Mike Johnson of 2023? So in case you guys missed it, Elon Musk has been digging up old posts from Mike Johnson, Leader Thune, and President Trump. And these are posts that supports what Elon Musk has been saying about the deficit and this big, beautiful bill. Well, here's what Speaker Johnson had to say in return. The Mike Johnson of 2023 is the same Mike Johnson who has always been a lifelong fiscal hawk, who now serves as Speaker and is implementing a multi-stage plan to get our country back to fiscal responsibility and extraordinary economic growth. It begins with the critical, important One Big Beautiful Bill that includes the largest mandatory spending cut to the federal government in history by almost 400%, the largest tax cut in history, the largest investment in border security in a generation, along with arguably the strongest collection of pro-growth provisions ever passed. The same consistent Mike Johnson who has always supported the America First agenda. But now here is Representative Karine and what he had to say about Elon Musk's criticism. Take a look.
My issue is why wasn't he talking about this before the bill, right? Because those of us that were actually trying to make cuts, we could have used his support, and that actually might have helped us out quite a bit. And that's what frustrates me. Hey, if you're going to be in this fight when we need you, because we needed him.
And ladies and gentlemen, that will be the main criticism for Elon Musk. Every time he comes out and he criticizes President Trump or the administration, even the big, beautiful bill, the main pushback should be, hey, Elon, where was this energy at a month ago, 2 months ago? So that is definitely a worthy criticism. Now, President Trump is not slowing down here. He just said this. Elon Musk was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do. And he just went crazy. Again, the same standard applies to President Trump. If you felt this way about Elon Musk, why didn't you say something? And then Elon Musk continued to fire back at the president by saying this, time to drop the really big bomb. President Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. This is a perfect example of what I'm saying. When Elon Musk criticizes President Trump, he's contradicting himself, because then the pushback is, if you've known this the whole time, why did you continue to support the president? And that's why in the comments section, people are not buying this. Now, Elon Musk did say this, mark this post for the future, the truth will come out. Others are saying, hey, I was actually more in favor of your stance, but this is just pathetic. Another person said, post the proof right here on your platform. Don't play with us. And another person saying, too serious of an accusation to post without evidence. Drop the evidence now or Trump is going to sue you into oblivion. Okay, so we've seen what President Trump had to say. We've seen what Elon Musk had to say. And we've seen what Speaker Johnson had to say. So who's left? The Democrats. And this is how pathetic they are. Take a look at this clip.
So what do the Democrats do with someone like Elon Musk, given how powerful he is? Do they keep trying to push him off to the sidelines, given how erratic he is, given his, I mean, there's been a lot over the past year. Or do they try to recruit him back into the fold? Because, again, that money, with our campaign finance laws, which I think are broken and should be amended, that money really matters, especially when you have a lot of AI firms now backing prominent Republican races, because they think Republicans are going to give them a better shot at fewer regulations.
You know, I'm going to respond in a way that isn't about the money. Okay, the Democrats have to be a big tent party. That means taking in disaffected Republicans, just anyone who understands that what's happening in this country right now under Donald Trump's leadership and Republican leadership in Congress is anything but normal. And the way we do that is by bringing in people like Elon Musk and anyone else who would be open to the idea of competent government, of course, building a government that and an economy that works for everybody, including working people. I mean, that's the most powerful message.
The irony here is that Elon Musk owns the platform X, so he's already ahead of everybody as it pertains to this issue about political parties. In fact, he has proposed creating a new one. Here it is. Is it time to create a new political party in America that actually represents the 80% in the middle? And 81.9% of people agree after 2 million votes. Now, here's what Senator John Fetterman had to say about Elon Musk and Democrats. Take a listen.
The Dems, we've been dumping all over Musk and vandalizing Teslas or whatever, and now suddenly we might be more back into him and thing. It's just like it's like, he's right about the big beautiful bill. I mean, it's like adding a $2.5 trillion debt. I mean, it's astonishing. I can't imagine anyone genuinely think this is like a smart thing.
Yeah, that's why Democrats are truly pathetic. They think they're...
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause this here. But last time I heard, I haven't seen the bill, but I heard there were actually $1.6 trillion in cuts in this bill. Now, let me know if you've heard some information contrary to that, or if you've heard that information as well. Now, there's things that they couldn't cut out of the bill because it has to go through an appropriations procedure, and that requires 60 votes in the Senate, and they're not going to get 60 votes. They've only got 53 Republican senators in there if they all vote for it. But what they've done in this bill, the multi-billions of dollars that they cut in the EV vehicle mandate. Okay, so I don't know. It may be what Fetterman said right there might be the thing. He's saying, man, people are destroying my company. Maybe I need to kind of act like I'm on the other side. I don't know. This just seems crazy. Like 2 fifth graders going at it. Okay? I don't get it. This has to be some kind of, I don't know, some kind of thing to get people to not destroy Elon Musk's vehicles and dealerships. I don't know. All right. Let me show you here that this video does come from Devory Darkins. I'm subscribed to his channel. I've given him a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. Okay, let's get back here and see what's next with Anthony Brian Logan. Karine Jean-Pierre leaves the Democrat Party. I mean, everybody's like jumping sides, switching back and forth. I don't know. It's crazy, crazy. So let's see what Anthony Brian Logan has to say on this. This thing will start. We'll be in great shape. Hello. Come on, Rumble. You can do it. Yeah, let me try to refresh it here. There we go. Maybe.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Karine Jean-Pierre, the former White House press secretary under Joe Biden, leaving the Democratic Party. Now, this story is really funny. A lot of DC people already hit me up talking about, oh, it's a grift. She's just trying to get some money. She's trying to become a celebrity, all this, that, and the third. Now, I see something here. I do see the play here. I see kind of what's going on. But I'm not mad at Karine Jean-Pierre. Why not? I'm not mad at you because the Democratic Party, they treat their people like garbage. It doesn't matter who you are. They treat everybody like garbage. Joe Biden, I mean, this guy's 1,000 years old, and they had him run for president. It's like, come on. Why would you do that to this old man? I know he wants to actually run, but at a certain point, you got to take the keys from Papa. Remember when Van Jones was crying on TV about that?
When your grandpa, you got to take the keys, and everybody, you got to take his keys. You got to take his keys. You got to, and he's fighting, and everybody's so frustrated. And then you finally get the keys back, and then you just cry.
Democratic Party treats their people like garbage. So why not become a celebrity? Why not get some money on the back end? Why not? Now, before I go any further into it, let's look at a couple of clips, and we have an article talking about the colleagues and how they feel about her decision. This is going to be
when she was still the press secretary, and she's talking to Peter Doocy. They had a lot of good back and forth. It was a lot of good content for us over on Twitter and YouTube and whatnot. But let's watch this. Then we're going to get to her announcement about her book, which, of course, she's promoting. Then we're going to get to the colleague article, and everything, of course, will be in the description. If you're on IG, Facebook, etc., visit a link in the bio. Go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Between next Monday and 2028.
2028?
Who's the leader of the Democratic Party?
Oh my goodness, wow. That is, honestly, that is for people much smarter than I to make that assessment, that decision. Obviously, voters will decide. That is not something for me to decide.
So, no leader of the party.
That's not what I said.
Well, it's not President Biden, and it's
My
not
gosh,
Vice President.
I'm regretting this right now.
DNC,
Regretting all of this.
It's nobody.
That's not what I said. I said that you asked me about what's the 2028 is going to look like between now and 2028. I can't, or post obviously this president's tenure. That's not for me to decide. That's not for me to speak to.
All right, so there we go. She didn't want to say who the leader of the Democratic Party was. I mean, hey, how can she say it? Because Joe Biden's on the way out. It should be him, right? As of right now, because even when Trump was not in the White House anymore, he was still the leader of the Republican Party. So I think we all know that Joe Biden was not going to lead anything from the beginning. Now, this is going to be her promoting the book, and she'll talk about being independent. You see the title of the book right there, Independent. Let's check it out.
Hi, I'm Karine Jean-Pierre, and I am the author of a new book that's coming out this fall called Independent. It's coming out on October 21st, so please do grab it. And the reason I wrote this book, coming out of the White House, serving as White House press secretary was an honor and a privilege. But since I have left, the people that come up to me, strangers that come up to me just across the country as I'm traveling, and sometimes right in my neighborhood, at a grocery store, supermarket, airport, my daughter's school, the number one question they ask me is, Karine, how do we get out of this? How do we protect our democracy? How do we protect vulnerable communities among us? What do we do next? Because we don't have answers here. That's what they ask me. And this is my answer. And what I mean by that is, in an era of misinformation, disinformation, the regressiveness of social policy, what we're seeing currently right now, what I have decided to do, and I really have thought long and hard about this, is to follow my own compass. And that's what I've done. And that's what this book does. And here's the truth. And here's how I will lay it out to you. I think we need to stop thinking in boxes and think outside of our boxes and not be so partisan. And the way that I see moving forward in this space that we're in right now is, if you are willing to stand side by side with me, regardless of your how you identify politically, and as long as you respect the community that I belong to and vulnerable communities that
LGBT
I respect, I will be there with you. I will move forward with you. And that is, I think, so important. So this book, Independent, it's about looking outside of boxes, not just always being in a partisan stance. And how do we move forward together in a compassionate way, in a way that really, truly cares about people? October 21st.
All right, there we go. So there's a lot I want to say. Okay, can I just address the obvious? I'm going to address the elephant in the room. I'm going to just say what I got to say. Karine Jean-Pierre is beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, beautiful, beautiful woman. Somebody might say it don't matter, but it does. Let's be serious. If you're going to be a celebrity, which she is, she's a star. Look, she's beautiful, very well spoken, engaging person. She has the energy of a Michelle Obama, but in a much better looking package for sure. Okay. She has that type of energy going on. And that's something that you can't really teach. Jasmine Crockett does not have that. Jasmine Crockett is not attractive like Karine Jean-Pierre. And she has this energy that's not very welcoming. It's more adversarial. I'm going to fight you. That's her energy. But at the same time, she's entertaining. However, her overall package would make her be a bigger star with more crossover appeal than Jasmine Crockett. Does that make any sense? Michelle Obama has more than Jasmine, but less than Karine Jean-Pierre, in my humble opinion. And I think the strongest candidate in the Democratic Party right now would have been Michelle Obama if she wanted to run. What I see in her future is a presidential run. Yes, I do. I see it. She's I think in her 40s, like late 40s, early 50s, something like that. Looks great for her age, and she has time. So we're going to get the book to come out first. She'll be a celebrity. She'll be on all the shows. She'll be on The View. She might mess around and get a TV show. If she gets a TV show, y'all going to see how good she is. She was already the White House press secretary, so she understands how to communicate. That's something Kamala did not have. Kamala was more beautiful when she was younger, but she's still not a bad-looking woman. The problem with her is that she did not know how to communicate. She was weak and didn't really have many words. She'd get you with a word salad answer. She really didn't have much on the way of communication, but Karine Jean-Pierre has it. So a lot of her colleagues are going to be upset because they see her just trying to get into becoming a celebrity, and she's not really caring about the party. Let me just show you some of this article right here from Politico, in which you see a little bit more from her colleagues. You see the headline: Karine Jean-Pierre is leaving the Democratic Party. Her former White House colleagues have some thoughts. Several who worked alongside the former press secretary responded to her book announcement with derision and contempt. So they didn't like it at all. So check it out. Karine Jean-Pierre's announcement that she's leaving the Democratic Party time with the rollout of a new book has detonated long-simmering grievances among her former White House colleagues about Jean-Pierre's pursuit of celebrity and personal media exposure while serving as then-President Joe Biden's press secretary. So basically, hey, while she was on the job, she was trying to pursue the celebrity. Why not? She got a lot of attention. A lot of us on the right were talking about her because of all the back and forth between her and Peter Doocy. And then the way she would just communicate grabbed attention. And her looks, of course, that matters. Some are going to say it doesn't, but you're just a liar. You're just a liar. Hey, if I was a big fatso sitting in front of you, that'd matter, wouldn't it? But I digress. So check it out. The attention-grabbing ploy lit up Democratic and Biden alumni texting groups and reignited frustrations that burned for years about Jean-Pierre. According to 7 former Biden administration officials granted anonymity to describe private conversations, one former official recalled that Jean-Pierre had joked about becoming an independent even while on the job in the Biden White House, an off-key comment for someone ostensibly serving as a major messenger for the Democratic Party. Another former official said that Jean-Pierre had begun working during the Biden administration with a New York-based publicist, trying to get that book ready. She's smart. It's like, look, y'all want to use me out, spit me out? Nah, I'm going to get money. And everybody should be like that. In this day and age where you can be fired, it don't matter. Hey, use whatever you have to your advantage to be able to push yourself forward. I'm not doing anything illegal. Why can't I talk to a publicist? I can't write a book. Everybody writes books. Everybody writes books. Every person that goes to the White House writes books.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause that there. But, I just wanted to play that about her writing a book. I guess that's the thing to do. And like he said, everybody writes freaking books, and her leaving the Democrat Party. All right, let me click over here and show you that this video does come from Anthony Brian Logan. I'm following his channel. I've given him a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. All right, let's come back here and see what we have next. That would be Bannon's War Room. And this is an interesting take here on the Fed does not want to lower interest rates to help the Trump administration. I don't know if that's the reason or they just like that extra money. You realize that the Federal Reserve is a privately owned industry. Okay, it's not part of the federal government. I mean, it's kind of like Federal Express. They've got the name Federal in there, but Federal Express has nothing to do with the federal government. The Federal Reserve, the only thing they have to do is to print money and charge the government interest on that money. Okay, they print the money kind of out of like thin air, and then charge the government, the taxpayers, you and me, interest on that money. So, I don't know. All right, let's come over here and see what this is all about.
Today. All right. The other day I went over most of these charts, the early ones in a row. I just want to present them all because it does tell us one big story, right? In a nutshell, the Federal Reserve system, right, started about 1913. It has two mandates: price stability and low unemployment, keeping jobs. So those are the two responsibilities. It looks over the past 40 years like the Federal Reserve has focused exclusively on the financialization and protecting Wall Street. You will not see stable prices in what I'm about to show you. And the jobs reports came out yesterday, and the Fed doesn't want to lower interest rates. And so I'm just going to give you the 30-second version of one simple explanation. But one thing the Fed wants to do right now is keep interest rates a little higher, right? They don't want to cut rates right now to help the President Trump administration help grease the wheels for the tariff transition time period. They want to keep rates higher, most likely, so that treasuries are higher, right? 10-year, 30 years are higher interest rates, so the rest of the world buys a treasury. Who does that help? That helps the financial system. So when you hear financialization, we're talking about Wall Street versus Main Street. All right, Denver, you want to go to the first chart? This I showed the other. This is just cumulative inflation going way back, 1913 all the way up to 2020, 2,000% cumulative inflation over that time period. So if you feel like the dollar's losing its value, you would be very highly correct. Second chart, consumer price index I showed last week. And the key piece here is, when do all these charts kick into overdrive? When do they spike up like a hockey stick? And the answer for all of these charts is 1971, when the Federal Reserve breaks under Nixon with a gold standard. They're not tied down, right, to any stable fixed currency. And then prices are not stable. Look at that chart. Most all of our history, prices are stable. And then as soon as we get off the gold standard, prices go through the roof. That just sounds theoretical. What's that got to do with me? Well, you're going to see the next chart. Went over this one last time. Home prices through the roof, starting at about when? 1620 is at the far left. 1620. Home prices fairly flat for a few hundred years, and spiking up on the far right. Next one, Campbell's soup can, going straight up after 1971. We're keeping our eye on Chancellor from Germany, Merz, and if he and President Trump start speaking, we're going to take a break from the Federal Reserve charts. But I want to get through these. Next chart real quick. This one you've seen all the time. This is federal debt as a percentage of GDP. I'm not going to spend time on that one. You know it. Next one is national debt in trillions of dollars. Look at the bottom at that arrow. In the middle, 1971. And then what happens? Debt blows up through the roof. All right, now what is the effect of this lack of control of monetary policy? The Federal Reserve, they act like they're all official. They're all buttoned up. They never take any blame for anything. They never acknowledge any errors whatsoever. I'm about ready to show you a lot of errors that have resulted from the Federal Reserve System. Real quick, 1971, on this chart, Fred from the Federal Reserve System, all this data came from Powerline, by the way. I want to thank them for posting all these charts. But the federal deficits start moving away from balanced budgets in guess what date? 1971. And look to the far right, and you have massive deficit problems. Underneath that, the next graph coming up, all major currencies have depreciated. All currencies crash in 1971. All major currencies crash in 1971 in comparison with a gold standard. All right, now a little closer to home. Next chart. This is called the Gini ratio. It's just an index of inequality. So you can just think of it as the ratio of, the top 10% of the families to the bottom 50%. That gap between the rich and the poor, as we've shown on this show time and time again, has gone up. When did it start going up? Look down at the bottom of the chart. This is what I'm trying to show in today's set of charts. Everything. I mean, in economics, correlation is not causation, right? But when you have 30 charts in front of your eyeballs and they all start at 1971, correlation is getting pretty close to causation, right? The Federal Reserve has messed things up. You can also throw in the 60s Cultural Revolution and all that. Next chart. These are the various sectors in the economy. There's only one line on that chart that's going up. Sorry, it's a mess for the folks at home, but look at the bottom. It says financials in blue, and that line, the financials, go straight up. All the other sectors in our economy are going down. So as Scott Bessent, our new excellent Treasury Secretary, has said, Wall Street, you've had your turn since 1971, apparently, if these charts are correct. And now it's time for Main Street, right? It's time for the working class, and that is the Steve Bannon populist nationalist revolution that cares about the American people. And it's that simple. Here are the next three charts I alluded to earlier in the show. When Steve's brought up Japan and their childbirth problem, the marriage problem, the family breakdown problem. We talked about family is the key variable related to school performance for our kids. And look at this chart, 1971 approximately, up at the top of that chart, the red arrow, children per women at 5 back in the 50s and 60s in the old white picket fences that are mocked and ridiculed by the mainstream media. But I think those children are also correlated with happiness. Even if we didn't have all the fancy bells and whistles back then, I think families with a stable job and a stable family and a bunch of kids running around were happier than today, perhaps, right? The psychological data seem to be consistent with that as well. Next chart, Denver. Median age at first marriage, right? The middle person, the average age at first marriage, looks like it used to be about 20 years old for women and 22 or so for men. In the middle of that chart, then 1971, economic instability, job instability, economic instability. And it's way harder to buy a house, as we just saw. If it's harder to buy a house, it's harder to get married and have a stable family and have kids, so the kids go down. So I'm just trying to show you, as Steve would say, how all these variables are inextricably linked together. And if we don't get it right, this current big, beautiful budget bill, it is inflationary, right? And the Fed has had no problem accommodating all of that debt by printing money. And it's their job not to do that. They're supposed to be the adult in the room and hold things together. They have not done that in the past. Next chart. This one is pretty good. This is the real deal right here. Real GDP per capita, right? GDP is gross domestic product. That's how much the country produces in a year, goods and services. Real per capita GDP is the blue line going straight up. Right, so it sounds good, right? Good. So real GDP per person, average income is going up, right? Because income is tied to what you produce. But the red line is the median male income, median. So not the average, where you average in all the trillionaires, right? The Gateses and all the Facebooks and the Googles and all the Magnificent Seven. Not the average, where you throw them in the soup. Now let's just look at the middle person. What happens to the middle person, the middle class in this country? Median male income is flatter than a pancake. Since when? I mean, you can't really make this up. If I had to construct fake charts to make up a story, I couldn't have produced any better charts than these, right? Just look at that, 47 over to 70. Things are going up for the median male income, household income, where you could have a bunch of kids and have a house and have a family and get married at a younger age. All gone. It's all gone. And the last one, just in terms of socio-economic data, I'm going to be with Jack Brewer. He's the President Trump's lead man for the young kids, for the black families, for the prison population he's trying to serve. He's doing outstanding work. I'm going to be with him for the rest of the day. Look at this one. Fast progress. Average black income as percentage of average white income. Black incomes, fast progress, 1948 at the far left, going all the way up to 1971, and then it starts slowing and flattening off drastically. That is all the result of our Federal Reserve Bank. If anyone ever asks you what's wrong with the Federal Reserve, point them to this. I'll post it. It's posted at Brad Economics on Getter and on X.
Okay. There you have it. Very interesting. The Federal Reserve is not our friend, folks. It's not our friend. I've been talking about this for years. All right, let's click on this Rumble link and show you that this video does come from Bannons War Room. I'm following the channel. I've given him a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. Okay, let's wrap this up from Glenn Beck. What everyone is missing about the big, beautiful bill. Okay, the big, beautiful bill fight. All right, let's come over here and see what Glenn has to say. Glenn and Stu.
Stu, the latest on the battle of the big, beautiful bill. What the hell is happening now?
Well, I mean, most of the coverage the last 24 hours has been that Elon Musk is tweeting about it an awful lot. That seems to be the focus of the media at the moment. And, various lawmakers trying to wrangle Elon Musk and trying to get him to stop doing this. They don't want him to message this as this terrible bill because they want to keep him within the walls. They want him to be involved in the Republican Party and movement going forward. But they also feel like this is the best that they can do, I suppose. It's the bill itself. It's going to be very hard to get this through. I mean, you have only 53 senators on the Republican side. We know basically for a fact that Rand Paul's a no under almost any circumstance, right? So you're at 52. You can lose 2 more. We know Mike Lee has already kind of indicated he's not particularly in love with this bill. Several others have as well. So they're going to have to make changes to probably get those people on board. When they do that, you're going to have the House, which only passed the bill by 1 vote and already has 2 members who did vote for it, who have said they now would vote against it now that they actually know what's in it, which is another significant problem that maybe we should try to avoid in the future. You should probably read the bill before you actually vote for it, especially, and you don't even have to read the bill on this stuff because people were talking about it outwardly in the debate about the bill, the particular problems that these 2 representatives cited. So you're already under the amount of votes you need in the House before the changes. Several factions in the House are saying they will not vote for the bill if certain parts of it change, like the SALT deduction that we've talked about before, where you get to deduct your local taxes in blue states, basically, for a very short description of it. So, I mean, look, Donald Trump does have a way of coming in and saying, do it. And Republicans have a way of stepping up and saying, yes, sir. That's kind of the way the Republican Party works at this point. So I think there's a good chance it still gets through eventually. But when you look at what the bill has, it has a lot of good, but it has an awful lot of bad in it as well.
Okay, so can I just... Let me pick it up from there, Stu, that it has a lot of bad in it, has a lot of good in it. For Father's Day, let your dad know cotton and dad you're getting from anybody. Really, you're not getting a balanced look. I understand both sides. I really do. I understand the urgency from the White House, and I think Russ Vought's going to be on with us in about an hour or next or tomorrow. It depends on what his schedule is like today. They're trying to squeeze him in today. But, I trust him. He knows what's going on. And I understand the White House's point of view. I really do. I understand that if this doesn't pass, that means the tax cuts probably are not going to be permanent. They won't get them through. Without the tax cuts, the entire thing falls apart. Without regulation reform, the entire plan for the economy falls apart. Okay? And Trump knows that. The White House knows that. The Democrats know this. They have to have this pass because of the good stuff in it. Now, the bad stuff that's in it, the biggest probably bad stuff, is the debt ceiling being raised by another $4 trillion. That's really bad. That's really, really bad because we're not going to be able to continue to fund our country if we keep raising the debt and we can't sell our treasury bonds. We can't sell our debt to anybody because nobody believes us anymore that we're serious about cutting spending. Then the entire thing falls apart. So damned if you do, damned if you don't. That's where we're at. Okay? If we don't pass it, then the president's economic plans fall apart. If we do pass it, we run a very high risk of the rest of the world saying, you guys aren't serious about your debt and we can't buy your treasuries anymore. And that changes that changes everything. That one is not the fault of this administration. That one is the fault of every single Democrat and Republican since when I was first born. They have been talking about this. They've been talking about the debt and the deficit and everything else. We've been talking about our spending problem forever. And at some point, I mean, even FDR said this, at some point, this won't work. You'll have to stop it. I remember Ronald Reagan saying, at some point, we're not going to have any good options left. Well, we're there. There are no good options. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Okay? This is what Ronald Reagan said was coming. We've known this forever as a nation. So I look at this and say, who do I bet on? Gosh, I mean, we're betting the future of our nation. We're betting the future of our children. We're betting whether we're all slaves to debt or not. I don't hear a good solution on either side. I don't trust that the Republicans, I don't think they're serious about anything at all. There's a few people that are serious about the debt and really, I think, understand it. Rand Paul is one of them. Mike Lee is another one. Chip Roy is one. But Chip is one that I think also really understands not just the dangers of the debt, but also the dangers to the economy if we don't pass this bill. We've got to have the tax cuts. Have to. Or everything falls apart. So what do you do? Well, there's one thing here that really bothers me. This is I give the benefit of the doubt to Trump and the White House, and that scares me. It does. Not because I don't trust Donald Trump. I do trust Donald Trump. But the debt scares the hell out of me because it's real. And at some point, and I don't know if it's this $4 trillion debt ceiling raise or the next one, but at some point, the rest of the world's going to walk away and go, mm-mm. So I give the benefit of the doubt, pass the bill. Just pass the bill, okay? That could end up being wrong. I'm not going to tell you I'm right by any stretch of the imagination. I think this is something we all have to do our own homework and then pray on. I can't tell you what's right or what's wrong. Everybody, you want somebody to do that, listen to Sean Hannity or somebody else, because I don't know. I don't know. Here's what I do know. Yesterday, Trump said the debt limit should be entirely scrapped. That is colossally a bad idea. A bad idea. And I can't give the president the benefit of the doubt on that one. No. If we scrap the debt ceiling and the debt limit, that means nobody ever has to pause. Now, he's right in this sense that everybody's using that debt ceiling as a weapon. So if you don't have to have the debt ceiling, then they can't say, you know what? We're going to default on our loans if we don't spend all this money. We're never going to default, okay? We're not going to default. We're just going to have to live through austerity. We're just going to have to cut all of the programs and just pay the interest on our bills. So we won't default. And if we do, we're even in more trouble than I thought. But if you take away the debt ceiling vote, then there is no restraint. And here's how the world will interpret this. There is one thing to say, I'm getting into a car and we're going to go down this canyon and it's very, very curvy. It's in one of those really dangerous canyons that just, make my butt clench every time you drive down these steep hills and canyons in the West where you're like, we can drive over the edge and then we're dead. It's one thing to get into a car and say, yeah, the brakes are fine. I mean, it might be leaking a little bit, but the brakes are fine. And And you get into the car and you're like, okay, I think we're okay. I think we're okay. And we have a chance of survival. And then another one inviting people into the car and saying, no, the brakes are fine. I mean, they're leaking a little bit, but the brakes are fine. Some people get in, some people don't. But if I got you on the top of that canyon and I pulled up in my car and I'm like, hey, hop in, we're going to go down the canyon. By the way, I cut the brake lines, so there's really no chance of us stopping or even tapping on the brakes. Would you get into the car? That's what other countries and other sovereign funds and all of the big wealth management, that's the way they're going to look at us if we have no debt ceiling. If we just like, yeah, we can spend whatever we want. We don't even have to talk about it anymore. We just know that, that's going to be okay. I'm not getting into that car. I'm not buying a single bond from you. You're completely irresponsible. And there's no tapping of the brake. There's no slowing the car down. It starts going down the hill. There's no slowing it down. It just crashes. Period. That's what happens. Okay? We cannot scrap the debt limit. That will be the death knell of America. It will be over. You will see the interest rates go through the roof because nobody's gonna want to buy our T-bill, so we'll have to be able to offer them more money. Okay, we'll pay you 9%. Well, what is paying 9% interest? Just say 6%, 5%. What does it mean if we have to pay 5% interest on $40 trillion? Nothing good. We won't be able to afford it. We will all be paying our taxes just to pay that debt. That's the bomb that's about to go off, okay? And that's why people who are, quote, fiscal hawks, that I happen to agree with, are saying we've got to cut more out of the budget. We have to, because it might be this $4 trillion debt ceiling raise that kills us. The world is so close to just saying, screw America. And they want to say, screw America. As soon as they're ready with their alternate version of whatever it is, Bitcoin, a CBDC for central banks, BRICS, whatever it is, as soon as they're ready, they are going to cut us loose. So we're facing that. Let's just not hasten that. And here's why the president has never in his whole life had a problem with debt. And in some ways, he's right. If you have debt and you're not really working hard, you're not doing the smart things, but you have all this potential and all this talent, but you're not doing anything, debt's a problem. Because how are you going to pay for it? When you're not making the even the minimum debt payment, you're just adding more debt. You're in real trouble. However, you're a deadbeat and you're like, you know what? I'm going to go to school. I'm going to become a doctor. I'm going to become a brain surgeon. And you have the ability to do that. I'm going to be a brain surgeon and, some Nobel Prize winning scientist on energy because I'm going to invent a new kind of energy. You have no problem with the debt you have. You can keep piling on debt. Go ahead. You want to go to Harvard? Good luck with that. But go to Harvard and pile that debt on because you will be able to pay that off with what you're going to make in the future. But right now, we're the deadbeats. We're not doing anything to make more money. And you know this in your own life. You have to be able to make more money. You have debt. You either have to refinance, and if it's at a higher interest rate, that could be a problem. You have to pay it off, or you just have to default and say, you know what, Chapter 11, I'm out. Well, we can't file Chapter 11. We can't do that. We can't default. The world won't allow us to. So what do? We either cut our debt and our deficit, and we get our spending way under control, or we get another job.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause that there. And he's right. He really is. And I believe Trump has pulled in what is it now, $13 trillion in investments into the United States for new manufacturing, or to reestablish manufacturing that has, kind of gone under, when the previous administrations allowed these jobs and companies to just go overseas because, number one, the taxes were too high. Number two, the labor overseas is so cheap. Donald Trump is trying to put America back into a producing country. And the Democrats, some of the Republicans, are just standing in his way. They have no concept. You have to have products here that we can sell someplace else and bring money from other countries into this country. We can't just have a service-oriented business here in the United States where all we do is sell stuff that's made someplace else and we keep shipping our money. That's a lot of it right there. We need to have money coming into this country from other countries. That's it. Now, I'm hoping that he had them raise this debt just in case it goes up. Here again, I heard there was some $1.6 trillion in cuts in this. There may have been some other things that, don't reflect those cuts, but that's what we need to do, folks. We need to work our way out of this. Hopefully, we can get some people in there other than Democrats that just like to spend money, give money away, buy votes, rig elections, because that's where all this graft and corruption was going. All this money going to these NGOs was filtering back in so they could buy votes and rig elections. Unbelievable. Okay, this does come from Glenn Beck. I am subscribed to his channel. I've given him a thumbs up. We can only hope that this will work out. I mean, it's just such a quagmire. All right, getting back here, folks. These videos come directly from the producers, okay? I've got the links to these videos here if you want to watch the remaining few minutes of them. By all means, do so. I'm not getting any commissions or royalties for sharing this information out, but I'm doing it to give you a good variety of information from trusted sources, not the lies and propaganda from the mainstream media. Okay, that's the reason that I do this. And it would be great if you could share this information out with others. Right here's a share button. If you click this, you can share this on Facebook or Truth, email it out, X, WhatsApp. You can even copy the link right here and post it in your favorite social media platform. Okay? So, by all means, share this information out so that other people can be aware of it. Let's check on the, WBS. She finally joined us here. Let's copy this in. Boop. All right, copy. Close that out. Come down here to a comment. And this is how easy it is to do a comment, by the way. You just write something in this little box. Okay? And then click this green comment button right here. And watch this. There it is. It's permanent now. This information is permanent with this video, whereas the live chats will just kind of go away. Let me do a quick refresh here on this. Okay, and close that out again. This information, and as you can see here, I've had 118 people watch this so far. I've got 18 people watching it right now and 3 thumbs up. So if I could get 15 of you to slide down here and give me a thumbs up, that would be fabulous. I'd greatly appreciate that. Okay, and these 4 videos that I shared with you came from videos that I've posted on Murtech.com. I update this site multiple times a day, every day, with information that you're not going to get on the mainstream media. Okay, right there, Glenn Beck. That's the information that I shared with you from Glenn Beck. And Bannons War Room. Right there, there's the information I shared with you from Bannons War Room and Devory Darkins. That's the video I shared with you from him. And Anthony Bryan Logan, that's the video I shared with you from him. But as I said, I have over 55 videos here, and I don't have a chance to share all of them with you in this 1-hour podcast. But I will be having my daily news wrap-up starting about 9:30. I will have that for you. So I'm going to go ahead and take a break. You take a break too. Grab a cup of coffee, a donut, sandwich, whatever, and come back about 9:30, where I'll have some information, the latest information that's out there. Right now I have like 70 videos in my playlist. I'm going to go back and update that, put some new information in it so that you can have your daily news wrap up. It's like a marathon live stream overnight. Great information, keep you up to date on what's going on from trusted sources again. So with that being said, I do want to thank you for the time that you spent with me this evening. Hopefully, I'll get to see you again later, and may God bless.